Hello friends, today I've got an absolutely crazy game for you. So this game was played in 1884 between William Ballard and Joseph Fagan. As you can see, White is giving knight horse to his opponent, and as this game was played in 1884, it's no surprise that the weapon of choice made here is the Royal King's Gambit. So without any further ado, let's get started with the game. So here we have the opening moves e4, e5, f4. So that's the King's Gambit, and we have the King's Gambit accepted. So black accepts the challenge. Now we have knight to f3. This is the most common move in this position as it stops any queen to h4 check. Black plays bishop to e7. We have bishop to c4. So preparing to castle as well as developing the bishop. Now we have bishop to h4 check. And white in this game played g3. So it's quite a risky move. It's a gambit, but it helps white in developing his pieces as quickly as possible. As white is giving a piece odd, he should really focus on developing rather than material. So we have f into g3, and white takes advantage of that and castles. So we have knight to h6. As you can see, the knight can't really develop to f6 and e7, as then the bishop will have no support and white can capture the bishop. Hence, it's important that the knight develops on h6. So white plays d4. So controlling the complete center and opening up the bishop. So white's position is already pretty pleasant. Now we have castles and h into g3, bishop into g3 and king to g2. So the king attacks the bishop and there is no real way to protect it rather than move it. And also the king moves away for the rook to go on h1. So the bishop here has to move. It went back to d6. Now we have rook to h1. So bringing the rook to the open file, and the threat being bishop takes h6. So we have queen to f6, protecting it, and e5. That's a double attack on the bishop and the queen. But the queen can simply move to g6, and that's check. So white king slides back to f1. And as you can see, white is down lots of material, but white's pieces are very smoothly placed, and hence black must create threats. That's why black plays knight to f5 with the threat of knight to g3, forking the king and the rook. So this has to be protected. We have rook to g1, so the fork no longer works. We have knight to g3 check, the king moves to f2, knight to e4 check, king to e1. The white rook is attacking the queen and the bishop is also attacked, so black must react here with a forcing move, and hence he plays bishop to b4 check. So that's dealt with c3. Now we have knight takes c3. So if the rook captures the queen, the black knight can capture the queen with the check. Hence white plays b takes c3, bishop takes c3, and instead of bishop d2, white should not really exchange pieces here. He moves his king to f2, and now as the queen is attacked, black moves his queen to c6. Simultaneously, the bishop is attacked as well as the black bishop is attacking the rook. So white has to make a decision here, either to save the rook or the bishop. And white here decides to save the bishop, as the bishop in this position is a stronger attacking piece than the rook. And black goes and grabs the rook. So we have bishop takes a1, and now d5. So again, the pawn is poisoned, it cannot be captured. If the pawn is captured, then we have bishop captures on h7, discovered check, winning the queen. Hence the queen moves to b6, that's a check. And white reacts with bishop to e3. So again, developing everything with tempo. So white has a raging attack with excellently placed pieces, and the black king has little defense on the king side. So we have queen to b2 check, and the king slides to f1 where it's really safe. Now the white is threatening bishop to d4 check, but unfortunately black ignores that and plays f5. So white gets the chance to grab the bishop. We have bishop to d4, queen captures on a2, and bishop captures on a1. So white grabs some material back, and he has the bishop pair, the queen and the rook, which are dangerous attacking pieces. And okay, black should really look forward to develop his remaining pieces, but instead He grabs on more material with queen takes d5. And now white goes ahead and sacrifices his last pawn. So we have e6. So this opens up the bishop and the rook. So the threat is rook takes g7 with a strong and deadly windmill. That's why this has to be dealt with. And black played g6. But now we have e7, so attacking the rook. The rook moves and queen to e2, simultaneously protecting the pawn as well as threatening bishop to c4. That's quite a strong threat. And now black continues with queen to c5. So this is the losing move, and white simply continued here with queen to b2. So the queen and the bishop are having a strong battery and they are threatening mate on g7. This has to be dealt with. And black here, although he's in a completely losing position and he's helpless against the raging white attack, he goes ahead and captures the pawn on e7, so capturing the last white pawn. But now checkmate is inevitable, and so we have queen to h8 check, king to f7, and knight to g5 spells checkmate. So quite an entertaining game, as you can expect from the King's Gambit and the romantic era of chess. So if you want more videos and games and puzzles like this one, I invite you to go down and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and have a good day.